Croatia is one of those must-visit destinations in the world. Whether you're on a business trip or intentionally seeking a spot for an unforgettable getaway, Croatia's unique charm along the Adriatic coast is something to be fully experienced. From olive groves to deciduous and coniferous forests, and breathtaking mountain vistas, to crystal clear waters revealing pebbles beneath, Croatia offers it all. It's an incredible country, boasting unique historical landmarks, pristine coastlines, and therapeutic thermal springs. With its mild climate and well-developed infrastructure, Croatia attracts hundreds of thousands of tourists from around the globe each year. Here you can bask in the sun on sandy beaches, take refreshing dips in the sea, marvel at unparalleled sunrises, explore lush vegetation, traverse mountain slopes, and discover enchanting coves. You can also witness the ancient architecture of major cities and quaint coastal towns firsthand. And the scent of pine from the Adriatic coast is a delightful bonus in this remarkable country. What can be said about deep-sea explorers, mountain conquerors, those tireless tourists who are particularly drawn to the untouched nature of Croatia? Here, everyone will find what their soul seeks. This country is an excellent place for aesthetes. Everything here is beautiful. It combines European love for orderliness with the warmth and humanity of the Mediterranean. Croatia always greets with warmth and hospitality. The Republic is rightfully considered one of the cleanest countries in Europe, and it is also a record holder for the number of national parks. There are a whopping 7 of them here. Travelers are increasingly drawn to naturalness, freedom, and the opportunity to completely detach from excessive urban fatigue and immerse themselves fully in the healing power of nature. Well then, we fully embrace and support this trend and actively contribute to its popularization. And that's precisely why we invite you to enjoy the pure nature of incredible Croatia. One of Croatia's most stunning natural parks is Krka National Park. Situated in northern Dalmatia, not far from the town of Šibenik, it spans 42 square miles. It's important to note that the name shouldn't be confused with the island of Krk. The park we're exploring in this video journey is located on the mainland of Croatia. The reserve is among the most preserved ecosystems and the most unchanged territory of the highest natural value. Alongside its untouched nature, which makes it highly appealing, Krka National Park serves significant cultural, research, scientific, educational, and recreational purposes, significantly influencing the decision to visit. The park's trails welcomed their first visitors in January 1985. Since then, millions of tourists have chosen to venture to Krka, holding on to their fondest memories of it. The unique park ecosystem has developed within the valley of the eponymous river, Croatia's most beautiful and longest river. Originating from the slopes of Dinara Mountain, Krka carries its swift waters through limestone rocks to Skradin, the ancient town, once a settlement of the ancient Roman province of Illyricum. As the river descends, it encounters more rapids, forming a chain of picturesque lakes connected by waterfalls. Interestingly, one of the first power plants in Europe was built nearby, near the town of Jaruga, according to the project of the world-renowned inventor in radio engineering and electrical engineering, Nikola Tesla. The choice of location for the power plant was deliberate. The famous engineer was born precisely in Jaruga. Remnants of the once grand structure can still be seen within the park's territory. The station operated until the beginning of the First World War. Today, from all corners of the globe, determined seekers of paradise on earth gather here. Krka Park boasts unique karst landscapes, transparent waters ranging from azure to emerald, healing air, and a diverse range of plant and animal life. Walking along the wooden bridges scattered throughout the reserve, visitors can witness 7 cascading waterfalls of incredible beauty, bathe in the basin of the largest among them, and experience a once-in-a-lifetime unity with nature, or perhaps never at all. Krka Park hosts a unique natural phenomenon, the silver necklace. Before plummeting down the waterfalls, the river water gathers in lakes before the thresholds, creating a dense, uniform ripple on their surface. The water shivers slightly, giving it a shimmering silver hue. The Krka River itself is a natural wonder, feeding the waterfalls with almost 500,000 liters of fresh water per minute. The most famous and breathtaking waterfall in Krka National Park is the Skradinski Buk waterfall, comprised of 17 travertine pillars. It's undeniably the favorite spot for every visitor to the park to linger and capture in photographs. And it's no surprise. Such beauty is worth preserving in memories captured on film. The lush greenery against the backdrop of the blue waterfalls is a true gift to modern humanity, often exhausted by bustling megacities. Without a doubt, a journey into the Krka River Valley will leave an indelible mark, not just for its stunning landscapes and waterfalls, but also for rejuvenating one's spirit, as nature proves to be the best and most effective medicine. The Krka National Park can and should be considered Croatia's priceless gem. Those who have visited the Plitvice Lakes may argue that they have long been recognized as the best in the world and are beyond competition. Let it be so. We'll just note that both parks are beautiful, and such comparisons, to put it mildly, are inappropriate. The beauty of Krka Park must be seen with your own eyes. Breathe in its clean air deeply and be awestruck by the realization of how nature could create such a marvel. The fast-flowing Krka River carries pure waters through untouched forests. The astonishing beauty of numerous cascading waterfalls and rapids, which the water playfully and mischievously overcomes, is truly mesmerizing. Observing it, it sometimes seems like it's just playing with the rapids, and those have no choice but to accept the rules of the game. There are plenty of convenient viewpoints within the Krka Park, where both small and large waterfalls can be viewed from various angles. The entire panoramic beauty will be at your fingertips. Unlike Plitvice, bathing is not prohibited in some of Krka's lakes. At least, no one will stop you. Special immersion zones have been created for this purpose. This by no means implies that bathing is permitted everywhere, but it is not prohibited by the national park's rules. However, divers will have to change into dry clothes in the nearby bushes. Special changing rooms are not yet provided for this. But visitors to the park usually don't pay attention to such trifles, because for most, the opportunity to bathe in a waterfall is not an everyday occurrence. In Krka Park, it's not just the waterfalls that leave an impression. To fully appreciate the surrounding beauty, be sure to visit the charming gazebo, ethnographic museum, and explore the old mills, where authentic stone millstones are preserved. These are remnants of pre-industrial mills belonging to the Šupuk dynasty, where virtually all of Croatian Dalmatia brought grain for threshing. Careful guardians of antiquity have restored the ethno-village, and now you can meet a miller, blacksmith, and weaver in national costumes who are eager to share practical knowledge of ancient crafts. Don't worry about getting tired from walking. All the natural and historical cultural heritage of the national park can be explored using a sightseeing boat. Of course, in this case, it's unlikely that you'll be able to thoroughly examine the most interesting sites. But you'll save your own tourist energy resources like never before. For all those interested, boat trips to the island of Visovac, to the waters of Roški, are organized and actively offered here. There is an opportunity to visit the Orthodox monastery and old fortresses. Even if you're not a fan of such excursion extravagances, you won't deny yourself the pleasure of a delicious lunch at one of the restaurants and a cup of coffee, enjoying the picturesque landscapes of the roaring waterfalls. Describing the breathtaking cascade waterfalls of Krka National Park is a daunting task, even for the most eloquent storyteller. We can only attempt to do so to convey why this Croatian water spectacle is such an attractive destination for tourists from around the world. It's worth noting that each of the 7 waterfalls is unique, with its distinct characteristics. Moreover, each waterfall has its own personality. It's for this reason alone that they should be considered special. For example, Krka Buk is the only waterfall that has never been affected by the energy use of the Krka River. It retains its pristine beauty and charm, even though human activity has still influenced the intensity of its flows. It wasn't a whim, but a necessity. The melting waters in early spring usually increase the water level of almost every waterfall tongue, posing a threat of flooding to nearby settlements. To prevent the detrimental disruption of the hydro balance, explosives were detonated 4 times under the threshold ledge of Krka Buk waterfall to prevent flooding of the Kanin agricultural lands near the town of Skradin. The Birlich waterfall is particularly stunning in springtime. Remember, at the beginning of our video journey through Krka National Park, we talked about the silver necklace? This waterfall is filled with silver shimmering water, and the emerald vegetation surrounding it only adds to its beauty and the overall experience. The Roški waterfall is also known as silver. One could assume that the most exciting event of your journey to Krka National Park will undoubtedly be admiring such a natural phenomenon as the silver necklace of Roški. And the highest waterfall in the park is considered to be with a height difference of almost 196 feet, and the length of the main water tongue is 108 feet. In 2011, a viewing platform was opened here, and a memorial plaque was installed in honor of Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph I, who once admired this waterfall during a walk with his wife, Empress Elizabeth. A momentous event, isn't it? Solely due to its magnificence, it is the most visited. Other reasons, from our point of view, should not be taken into consideration. It truly is one of the most beautiful in the national park. The Rošunjanek waterfall remains completely untouched due to its inaccessible location. It is the lowest of all of them. It's worth noting that linguistics onomaticians still need to weigh in on why local residents call it the altar, with the emphasis on the first syllable. The peculiarity of the Miljaka waterfall is that beneath it lies the hydro system node of what was once the most powerful hydroelectric power station in Europe, which at one time first illuminated the city of Šibenik. Nearby is the Miljaka cave, known for its numerous endemic fauna species, such as the human fish and the long-legged bat. And the most renowned and stunning among the 7 waterfalls of Krka National Park is Skradinski Buk. Its distinctiveness lies in its 17 enormous cascading steps. From a height of 2,624 feet, the water plummets with astonishing speed and phenomenal force. This waterfall is rightfully deemed the primary natural landmark of Krka National Park. Numerous travertine barriers, large and small lakes, a plethora of islets, It's such a natural marvel that, gazing upon it, one's heart involuntarily skips a beat. The water flow is truly remarkable. It rushes down so powerfully and swiftly that splashes scatter and moisten everything around with billions of droplets and fine water mist. Even in calm weather, this waterfall's moisture diffuses dozens of feet. So be cautious with your camera or expensive mobile phone. The basin of Skradinski waterfall forms a substantial lake, where, much to visitors' delight, swimming is still permitted. However, recently, scientists have been advocating for the closure of the bathing area near the waterfall. It's not difficult to surmise that there's always many tourists near Skradinski waterfall. Where else in the world can you find a heavenly retreat amidst untouched nature, amid the beauty of the waterfalls? And few carefree tourists realize that they are amidst the natural scenery for unforgettable episodes from the film Winnetou, Son of Apache, based on the novels of Karl May. It was right here, amidst the incomparable oasis of Skradinski Buk waterfall, that the epic of choosing between true feelings and duty was filmed. But to grasp the depth of this captivating cinematic tale, it's still better to read the book. The lush greenery against the backdrop of blue waters and waterfalls is a true delight for modern travelers. Exploring the Krka River Valley National Park promises extraordinary landscapes that instantly invigorate and inspire. Seasoned tourists praise it as the perfect harmony of natural hues and sounds. Getting to the national park from Šibenik City is most convenient by regular bus or joining an organized tour. Tours are abundant in Croatia, so finding one won't be a hassle. Polite yet persistent tour organizers will locate you on the beach, at hotels, along the coast, and sometimes in cafes and shops. If you prefer to plan your own itinerary, you won't face difficulties, as buses to the park's main entrance arrive every 15 to 20 minutes. Typically, a guided tour along the Krka River comprises two parts. First, tourists explore Šibenik, a living museum with its fortress, famous cathedral, and numerous historical and architectural gems. Then it's off to the Krka River Valley. The winding road offers stunning views, so opt for the left side of the bus not to miss out. Bus drivers are well versed in tourists' preferences and never rush. The main entrance to Krka National Park is near the town of Lozovac, where you'll find ticket counters, a souvenir shop, a small cafe, and a tourist information center. Ticket prices vary. During peak tourist season, July and August, adult admission in Croatian currency is 200 kunas, dropping to 145 kunas after 4 p.m. From September 1st, tickets are cheaper at 110 kunas. Children under 7 enter free. The park welcomes visitors year-round, and comprehensive information is available from friendly staff at the Tourist Information Center. They provide maps, guide consultations, and assist in choosing between boat or bus transport to the waterfalls. Most tourists opt for self-guided hikes to freely enjoy the sights along the 5 available routes. Whether you choose the lower path, about 3 hours, or the upper loop, half a day or more, the experience is worth it. Trails are well marked, ensuring you won't get lost, and the stunning natural beauty will captivate you throughout. A meadow along the way offers a perfect spot for a sandwich break, replenishing your energy amid the park's invigorating air. And if you're up for it, take a dip in the refreshing waters of the waterfalls, a delightful experience on a hot summer day. Just remember to bring your swimsuit. And don't forget about water shoes, coral sandals, as there's no mercy from sharp underwater rocks. The lake bed is quite uneven, so wading through the waterfall should be done extremely cautiously, and approaching the waterfall too closely is not allowed. Apart from the barrier, there's a vigilant lifeguard on the shore with a whistle. He attentively ensures compliance with this rule and sharply whistles at daring violators. Entering the park is possible not only through the main entrance. If you approach it from the town of Skradin, a small boat departs from there every hour, which will take you directly to the largest and most beautiful waterfall, Skradinski Buk. Many tourists opt for this route, and they likely won't regret it. From here, the path to the Skradinski waterfall is a 2.5-mile hike along a winding trail with ascents. But while traveling along it, you won't miss the most charming details of the waterfall's beauty. Don't worry about tiredness. It will be completely overshadowed by the impressions of natural splendor. And for eager and enduring travelers, there's another trail from the town of Roški Slap. Its length is almost 4 miles. It runs along the Krka River through the canyons of the park, and it offers stunning views of unique karst landscapes. This trail is slightly more challenging than other routes from Skradin, but for those who don't seek easy paths, it's worth taking. And it must be said, there are plenty of enthusiasts. As for the shortest hiking route to the park, it's the trail from the small village of Vizovac. There are always many travelers here because the length of the route is only 1.5 miles through dense, cool forests. In the summer heat, this matters, so families with children often choose this route. Let's allow ourselves a slightly playful lyrical digression. Who knows the most beautiful panorama of the Krka River and the surrounding mountains on this route? Kids. They usually get tired first of the hiking trip, and to avoid suffering, they pleadingly look into their parents' eyes and then climb onto their shoulders. It's like an improvised viewing platform. For those fascinated by ancient history and enthusiasts of historical discoveries, Krka National Park offers the opportunity to visit the excavations at Burnham. There, archaeologists work with remarkable enthusiasm, meticulously uncovering the remains of the ancient amphitheater and the Roman military camp. The most talkative among the archaeologists, in exchange for a bit of attention, will tell you that their unique historical find is sure to make a new contribution to history. Intrigued by an interesting collection of artifacts? Then set aside all your tourist concerns and head straight to the unique cave of Ozidana, where an exhibit of household items, Roman weaponry, and a collection of rare finds from the Neolithic and early Bronze Age is arranged. In summary, Krka National Park can impartially be called the best place for an educational excursion and an amazing connection with nature. It's easy to imagine that after relaxing in such a paradise, you'll immediately feel better. Your soul will be ahead of you, and happiness will overflow. Adding that Croatia is one of the cleanest countries in the Mediterranean, and the air is permeated with the aromas of the sea and pine, it becomes clear that these advantages are felt much more powerfully in the park. Of course, we're not in any way urging you to overlook the peacocks at Villa Joseph Broz Tito on the island of Biruni. But remember, peacocks are just a small part of the local beauty. The list of outstanding natural attractions in Croatia will never be complete without Krka National Park. The entire park is well equipped for tourists and outdoor enthusiasts. There are several cozy restaurants and cafes where visitors can have lunch or simply relax after hiking. The most popular restaurants are Skradinski Buk and Gastonia Stari Murin. They are clean and tidy, and they always offer traditional Croatian dishes and aromatic coffee. Krka National Park tourists can be accommodated in 489 hotels throughout the year, which can be booked in advance. In the smartphone era, this takes only 2 minutes. All hotels offer the highest level of service. Comfortable rooms or exquisite apartments with expensive interiors. The choice is yours. Wherever you stay, there's excellent cuisine, a hearty breakfast included in the accommodation price, and of course, free parking. We're not saying this as an advertisement, not at all. We mention it in a friendly and informative manner because recommendations are never redundant. To ensure that your stay in Krka National Park is not marred by unpleasant incidents, we recommend genuinely heeding simple but useful advice. Make sure to wear sturdy and comfortable footwear. Almost all park trails are quite rocky and uneven, and the wooden footbridges can be slippery. Don't ruin your feet with concert shoes. You won't be happy with anything. Bring an ample supply of drinking water, as it can get hot in the summer. The sun in the river valley is merciful, but it's still a good idea to wear a hat and apply sunscreen. The climatic conditions of Krka National Park are favorable, but be prepared for sudden weather changes. It can be unpredictable, so it's important to dress accordingly. The Krka River Valley is an ecosystem that has been formed over centuries. Careful Croatians cherish it as a precious treasure. That's why visiting Krka National Park is open to all who wish. But it's regulated by very strict rules, the violation of which will spoil your mood with reprimands from the staff, embarrassment, and hefty fines. The prohibitions in Krka National Park in no way limit your personal rights, but are solely aimed at preserving the unique natural resource. We advise against debating this matter and, like civilized people, complying with the prohibition on swimming and refraining from jumping into the water in areas not intended for it. Under no circumstances is fishing, hunting, pursuing, or intimidating animals or birds allowed here, for whom the park has become their home. Building fires, camping, and bringing pets are also prohibited. You cannot enter the park territory in your own car without special permits, not even on a bicycle. Additionally, professional photography and videography are prohibited because artificial lighting with flashes can frighten animals. Smoking is only allowed in designated areas. Unfortunately, this prohibition is often blatantly violated by avid smokers. And one more thing, tourists often carelessly forget or consciously neglect appropriate clothing when visiting monasteries or other cultural sites. Short skirts? No. Save them for an unforgettable party with your best friends. That's firstly. And secondly, tie a light scarf around your head or shoulders and advise your beloved man to change into plain beach shorts. Otherwise, you'll be elegantly shown the door. Numerous places within Krka National Park deserve special tourist attention. Waterfalls, caves, islands, monasteries, and museums. For example, within the park, you can explore the remains of the ancient Roman aqueduct built by Emperor Diocletian. Moreover, these areas were once surrounded by ancient fortresses such as Nechvin, Kluchia, Troshen, and Bogoshin, dating back to approximately the 14th century. For those interested in history, the ruins of former fortifications can represent both educational and professional research interests. Of course, within Krka National Park, it's hard to overlook the first Croatian power plant, which we mentioned at the beginning of our travel video. The old turbine from the station wasn't discarded or sold for scrap metal. It was left as a monument to not-so-bad engineering. An interesting detail: according to Nikola Tesla's designs, the power plant became the first in Europe and the second in the world, missing the mark by just 2 days behind the Forbes hydroelectric power station at Niagara Falls in the United States. However, Croatians are steadfast. They insist on their global primacy in supplying electricity to the city of Šibenik. The Ethnographic Museum of Krka Park is located near the largest waterfall, Skradinski Buk. Pay it a visit. You won't regret it. Inside, you can see interesting exhibits related to the history and culture of the region. Among the stylized Croatian courtyard, the interior of a room with an authentic loom stands out, where locals still weave bright rugs for the floor. If you wish, you can purchase them, a beautiful and useful item. Agree that a charming rug significantly differs from yet another magnet on your refrigerator. Visitors to the Ethnographic Museum will also be intrigued by samples of socks. Yes, you heard that right, socks. They are woven from dried sheep intestines. It is said that these unique socks are hygroscopic and have healing properties, especially for those suffering from joint diseases. Croatian peasants used to wear leather boots called oputashi over such socks. Among the exhibits, the national female costume with ornaments is equally interesting. Colorful glass beads, shells, necklaces, and silver coins add special elegance to festive attire. Among the exhibits, visitors are particularly interested in the washing machine, which operated by harnessing the energy of the waterfall. Original details and mechanisms of linen processing are also presented among the exhibits. In general, there are many household items of ancient Croats, all of which characterize them as skilled craftsmen. There is a real blacksmith's forge with an anvil in the museum courtyard, and the colorful blacksmith wearing an apron will forge a horseshoe just for you, for good luck. In this ethnographic village, there is a cozy restaurant where you can enjoy a delicious lunch. And if you're not pressed for time, be prepared to wait a while. Not because they don't respect you, but because the local chefs don't use semi-finished products. Having savored, as it were, the beauty above ground, you can venture into the depths to explore the thriving world beneath the surface of Krka National Park. Within its territory, or rather beneath it, lie 65 caves and pits. Unfortunately, the majority of them are currently off-limits to visitors. Safety concerns and the presence of endangered species like bats and the European proteus, a local invertebrate species, are the main reasons for these restrictions. Archaeologists also have their say. They believe the caves harbor vast unexplored layers of Roman and Neolithic cultures. Nonetheless, one cave is open to visitors. This is the Ozydjana Cave, a geological feature located on the left bank of the Krka River above the Roški Slap waterfall, near the small village of Milivaki Bogatici. Scientists consider this cave to be an important prehistoric dwelling, as numerous artifacts of human daily life have been unearthed there. Pottery fragments, ornaments, stone tools, and the remains of female, male, and child skeletons. Flint knives, spears, and even pieces of millstones were found during archaeological digs. Bones of sheep, deer, and wildcats indicate an organized social structure. Primitive people practiced collectivism in their daily lives. Traces of burnt wood were discovered in the central part of the cave. A hearth, symbolizing family and home since ancient times, was undoubtedly the hub of important everyday activities for prehistoric inhabitants of this cave. The discovery of burials in the Ozydjana Cave is particularly significant, offering rare and undeniable evidence of complex ritual behavior among people of those ancient times. The Ozydjana Cave begins with a 66-feet vertical cliff above the famous Silver Rapids of the Krka River, stretching for 196 feet through a winding tunnel leading into the middle of the hill and ending in a wide stone chamber. Researchers unanimously agree that the spacious cave served as the living quarters of ancient people. Our ancestors sought refuge here from adverse weather conditions, predators, and quite possibly other people with less than good intentions. Even without any research arguments, it can be confidently said that primitive people were adept at choosing housing. Despite menacing downpours, the cave remained dry and free from flooding. In the absence of lighting, the average air temperature in the cave is about 16 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Fahrenheit, with an average relative humidity of almost 100%. Dripping is observed only in a few places, resulting in tabular stalactites forming on the ceiling and stalagmites appearing on the floor. The Ozydjana Cave is an impressive natural and archaeological landmark. In jest, we note that its only drawback is the risk of bumping one's head into the ceiling in the tunnel passage. The living space, however, is much more spacious and comfortable, with the widest part of the cave measuring 23 feet and its maximum height reaching 82 feet. Outside, the entrance to the cave resembles a crown. Touring the Ozydjana Cave is both interesting and completely safe, with the cave well lit throughout. Tourist groups are kept small, with briefing provided beforehand and equipment supplied, suits and helmets with flashlights. Fans of cave exploration will be thrilled, as all artifacts are displayed where they were discovered. Also of note is the stylized figure of a former cave dweller, perhaps representing the owner of these prehistoric apartments. Today, numerous flocks of bats call this unique speleological residence their home. The natural blend of water, forests, proximity to the sea, and mountain ranges has forged a unique climate in Krka National Park, conducive to the thriving of both fauna and flora. The reserve is home to approximately 860 diverse animal species and over 220 bird species, 29 fish species, and a multitude of crustaceans and mollusks, many of which are exclusive to this region. Moreover, the park serves as a pathway for seasonal bird migrations. The predominant environment within the park is its traditional karst Mediterranean setting. This implies that the plant life does not exhibit excessive diversity. Nevertheless, each plant continues to fulfill its vital role in nature. Nearly 85% of Krka National Park is blanketed by relic forests, harboring about 50 rare species of trees and plants protected by the state. The valley of the Krka River boasts the highest number of orchid, snowdrop, and gentian species. A notable characteristic of Krka National Park is the abundance of medicinal plants. They have been utilized for centuries by locals to treat various ailments, and some remain effective in traditional medicine today. Among the most common are sage, thyme, lavender, and rosemary. The forests within the park are truly exceptional. Over the centuries, they have produced life-giving oxygen, prevented soil erosion, and provided a sanctuary for animals. The most prevalent tree species include oaks, hornbeams, and ashes, as well as various types of pines, spruces, and firs. A distinctive feature of the park's forests is their remarkable scents. Juniper resin, combined with the exquisite aroma of champions, rare flowering plants with woody stems. During spring, when the champions begin to bloom, your clothes and hair will be imbued with unique fragrances. And then, compared to them, even the most refined perfumes seem insignificant. In addition to its rich flora, Krka National Park stands out for its biodiversity of fauna. The park is home to around 300 animal species, all of which are under strict conservation. Among the larger mammals, otters, lynxes, wild boars, and badgers are notable. Interestingly, the otter population in Krka even surpasses normative population levels, as this animal is exclusively adapted to life in water. Given the abundance of water in the park, it is no surprise that it provides an ideal environment for these beautiful animals to thrive. Additionally, smaller mammals such as stone martens and red squirrels inhabit the park. The avifauna of the park boasts exceptional species diversity. Many birds nest along both banks of the full-flowing Krka River, its numerous tributaries, and an equal number of lakes. Common species include eagles, buzzards, white-tailed eagles, peregrine falcons, capercaillies, partridges, storks, and spotted woodpeckers. Moreover, the park is a haven for many migratory birds, such as cranes, ducks, song thrushes, and swans. It must be noted that the swans are particularly impressive here. How gracefully they emerge, majestically arch their necks and simultaneously beg for treats from visitors. It's such a touching sight that your hand involuntarily reaches for a piece of bread in your bag. The great variety of birds and favorable conditions for nesting make the park a popular spot for birdwatching. In times when the national park was not yet open to visitors, a rare species of bearded vulture was found here. Currently, these birds have practically disappeared, with scientists asserting that they have shifted their habitat to the calmer island of Kres. There are numerous freshwater fish in the lakes and river of Krka, totaling 29 species in all of the park's aquatic resources. The most common among them are the Illyrian chub, catfish, barbel, and trout. It must be said that the quantitative indicators of their population do not cause concern. Indeed, every tourist has personally witnessed this on numerous occasions, and even fed the boldest fish with pieces of biscuit. Among the lake and river mollusks, there are many pond snails, mussels, corals, and various species of snails. Reptiles and amphibians are also found in Krka National Park. The most common species include the Balkan pond turtle, European tree frog, and fire salamander. Among the snakes found within the reserve, the Balkan whip snake deserves mention. It is a strictly protected species. The snake lacks venomous fangs, so it kills its prey by constricting it with its flexible body, much like a python does. In Krka National Park, the snake lives among dry rocks and gorges, preferring to lurk for prey in low-growing grass. Active during the day, the whip snake feeds on small mammals, chicks, insects, lizards, and smaller reptiles. Its only threat comes from humans, as the whip snake is often destroyed out of ignorance and fear. Therefore, it is strongly recommended not to deviate from the established park trails. Even if you don't see any snakes or lizards in your field of view, you must heed the warning signs indicating their presence. In the evening, as the bird chatter in Krka National Park quiets down, bats take flight for their hunt. 9 species of Chiroptera have made the cliffs and both large and small caves their preferred hunting grounds. Currently, the population of 8 bat species is threatened with extinction and is protected by state-level conservation organizations. A special mention must be made of the underground fauna of Krka National Park. Today, it boasts 175 species, with the majority being endemic. Among them are the false-blind troglobite, troglophile mayfly, stygobiont snail, and human fish. The latter has caused quite a stir among scientists and those enthusiastic tourists who, even if it's bleeding noses, must venture into Croatian caves. So what kind of beast is this? The European Proteus, human fish, little dragon. All these names point to the tailed amphibian, a close relative of salamanders, inhabiting all underground lakes of the Balkan Peninsula. However, the favorite habitat of olms is karst caves. Amphibians emerge into the light, feed, grow, and reproduce in the complete darkness of tangled cave systems. They possess an incredible sensitivity to their environment. they categorically cannot tolerate its pollution. The nickname Little Dragon or Dragon's Child is not an attempt to attract tourists to visit caves with the opportunity to observe this beautiful creature. On the contrary, naturalist scientists are categorical and uncompromising. Just 2 steps of a person in a cave led to the death of extremely vulnerable human fish. And their menacing names, dragons, is simply explained. After heavy rains, water currents carried the amphibians to the surface waters of rivers and lakes. This phenomenon frightened the locals. They believed that the invasion of Olms was the offspring of dragons dwelling in the depths of bottomless caves. When discussing Krka National Park, one cannot overlook 100 natural wonders. In 2013, park scientists discovered a new species of invertebrate, the collembola, indicating its place in the natural system as a new biological class of small arthropods. Today, it represents an exclusive endemic species in Krka National Park. That's why the area around Mandryko waterfall is open only for scientific research. Visiting it is strictly prohibited for tourists. It's a must, so it is. Besides the Mandryko waterfall, there's much more to see in Krka National Park. Creating a detailed video project to showcase Krka National Park as a unique and breathtaking haven of natural diversity is no small feat. Whether you're a nature enthusiast or simply want to soak in its beauty, visiting Krka Park is a must. It truly stands as a remarkable place, offering a blend of natural splendor and Croatia's rich cultural heritage. Krka National Park represents just a fraction of the world's natural treasures waiting to be explored along the Adriatic coast. We extend our thanks to everyone who has contributed to ensuring that we, captivated by our experiences, could share the wonders of the park openly, sincerely, and with a deep love for Croatia.